cards. Finally, I want to get like some of my cards back. And so, okay, for 4 or 5 of the bigger cards, we're gonna gamble a box. Now I just worked there. It was 11 boxes, something around there. I've been collecting since I was 5 years old, and that's not a flex, but with that becomes just a lot of stories and fun things to share. And so in this video, that's what I want to do. And before we get into it, I just want to mention sports and sports cards. You know, they transcend a lot of things. They connect us. In hard times, we can lean on them. They're a constant. It's normally a positive or something fun to take your mind off something or to join in. I teach 5th grade. From a young age, they want to play sports, soccer, basketball, football. It's innate. And as they get older, it's more organized and then, you know, becomes college and pros. I picked up sports early, loved sports early on. My dad was a sports guy, my grandparents. And so by 4 years old, I have, you know, home footage of me talking about James Worthy and Byron Scott and Magic Johnson and just knowing the starting 5 of the Lakers at that point. I still have, I don't remember this by memory, but I have the cards still. In 1990, my grandpa brought me a box of hoops, basketball cards, and I still have those cards to today. And so that's the very first time I can go back and say, okay, that's the beginning, 1990 hoops basketball for me at 5 years old. And from there, I loved organizing the cards. I love learning the players on the cards. I love looking at the stats on the cards. And so I continued to collect. I remember I had the factory set Topps baseball 1994. And sometimes before I move on to that, my dad, you know, if he had us on a Saturday or Sunday, he would take us to the local card shop, hang out. They had Marvel cards. By the way, this binder here, I think it's going to be hard to show cards from here, so I'm probably going to run some B-roll or footage next to me of all the stuff I want to show. But in this binder is just all the Marvel cards from a kid, and that was big then. It just wasn't sports cards. The Marvel cards were cool at that time as well, and that was going around. And again, by 1994, Topps Factory Set, I remember turning that into like my own. Stratomatic was a thing back in the 70s, and basically what I did with my 94 set was make my own personal Stratomatic, and I'd roll dice and have the different teams play each other. I'd keep stats, and that was a lot of what sports cards was for me at the time. And I'm 9 years old, 8 years old. Then a couple years later, I think 1998 was probably the first year MLB Showdown came out. I forget who made it. Was it Wizards of the Coast? I think it was. Anyways, I have some of that in the box down here. It's just going to be too hard to get. It's not going to be worth showing this way. So what I'll do is as I edit it, I'll put some of what I have next to me. But MLB Showdown was a blast. My friends got into it. We went to a few tournaments. We would play after school. It was basically, you know, you collect the cards, you create a team. You need catcher, first base, second base. They all had defensive stats, offensive stats, pitcher stats. And you'd play a 9-inning game against a friend, and it was a blast. And again, that was what sports cards was me. At the time, Mark McGwire had just hit all those home runs. Sammy Sosa, Barry Bonds was coming up. Ellis Burks. I don't know why that's a random ass name I remember. Frank Thomas was huge in that game. So anyways, it was a lot of fun. That was part of my sports card experience. At that point, a little bit before Showdown came out, my cousin taught me how to play Magic the Gathering. That would have been early on, probably 95, 96, maybe 97. Probably before 97. And so that was always a staple. Me and my family, my brother, my stepbrothers, we would play growing up. I fell off a little. I still play some Magic the Gathering Arena, and I still keep on touch through videos. I've always flirted with getting back into it. It's kind of a money pit and a time thing. I should be exercising, doing other things, so whatever. I haven't. But Magic the Gathering was part of my childhood, as well as MLB Showdown. 1996, Kobe's a rookie. I'm a big Laker fan, so I didn't get a ton of Kobe. It's whatever I pulled out of packs or bought as singles. There wasn't a lot, but I probably had a dozen Kobe rookie cards by the year 98 or 99. At my 15th birthday, I went to the local card shop. I think I walked there. It was, 15, 20-minute walk. And by this point, I knew I had opened enough product, even by the year 2000, and this is 25 years ago? Jesus Christ. 2000 to... My God. I knew then boxes were a risk. My collection would be better. I knew then. It was something I had to decide then, which is hard when you're young and new and in the hobby. But at 15 years old, I already knew, hey, if I take this $80 and buy the Ken Griffey Jr. rookie card, that's in my collection. If I spend it on $80 of a box, I will have some cool things, some things I like, but I won't have the $80 Ken Griffey Jr. rookie card in my collection. I mean, it was obvious then that singles were the way to make my collection better, and I think that's holds true to today, that singles are probably a better buy, probably a better investment. Sealed wax is different. I do think sealed wax can hold because if breakers continue to be a thing, they're always going to be looking for product, and and that'll keep boxes high, and they've aged well anyways. Most box prices, not all, have aged pretty well. At age 15, that same card shop, I was working at McDonald's. I got a job at McDonald's. I think I might have turned 16 at this point. I went to the card shop owner. He worked there every day. He also owned a card shop in a different town, so he owned two. He never got a day off, and so I told him, hey man, I'll come in on Sunday. I'll open the shop for you. I'll close the shop for you. I'll work Sunday. You know, I was a regular at this shop. My dad was with me at the time, and he said yes. And so I started working at this card shop by myself at 16 years old. I'd open it. I'd close it. And this does have a bad story that I look at in a good learning experience. So I probably worked there 3 or 4 months. I was going through rough times. My parents got divorced. I have stepbrothers I didn't get along with. I had medical issues that turned into me wearing an ileostomy bag in high school. And thank goodness that's, again, over 25 years ago. So, you know, it's a different lifetime ago, but I'm healthy now. It was quite an experience. But anyways, no excuse for this. I was also young, dumb. A couple kids, older kids. If I was a sophomore or junior, they were either a senior or had just graduated. I kind of knew them, kind of didn't. And we started playing poker, and it was their type. I like poker. I knew cards. And I think they were wanting a certain kind of poker, 7-card stud with a wild. And looking back, very soon after looking back, I realized I get scammed. So first, after a couple weeks of playing, they'd come. I lost my whole personal collection. I think my favorite card at that time, and it's still a nostalgic card for me, is the Stadium Club rookie Brett Favre. I believe it's 1991. This was the Grail card for me. I only had one at the time. I think I traded one to my uncle. I had gone through a couple, but I had one in the collection at the time. I don't think my Kobe rookies were in that box. They're in a separate Laker thing. So, I mean, I still had that, but I lost that whole box of PC. And so the next week I say, okay, we're playing, or whenever I lose all the cards, fine, I want to get like some of my cards back. And so, okay, for 4 or 5 of the bigger cards, we're going to gamble a box. Now I just worked there. I didn't get maybe I got a discount. It was very tiny, but it's not like I owned any of this. I purchased any of this, and I lose the box. So next thing you know, I got to get that box back. I'm 15, 16 years old. I'm going to gamble another box to get my box back. And I lose 2 boxes. And this turns into me losing 11 boxes. And looking back, dude, they were cheating. I mean, clearly they were cheating. At the time, I didn't know what to do. I had a friend I could call who could maybe pretend to rob the place. That quickly, not a real thought. And so I just owned up to it. I gave the guys the 11 boxes. I wrote the card owner a note saying I opened them. I was embarrassed or couldn't comp to gambling them. I did tell my dad that's what happened. My uncle was nice enough. I ended up losing, $1,000 on those 11 boxes, something around there. I write the guy, my card owner, a note. I'm sorry, last time working here. So that was my resignation notice. I soon after had all those surgeries and life went crazy. So, I mean, I wouldn't have been working there much longer anyhow. So my uncle, he lent it to me, basically gave me $500 to pay for half. So I pay him back half that way. I had an amazing showdown collection at this point, just amazing. Every holo you could think of, every big card. And I gave it all. I don't know what he made off it. I don't know how easy it was to move. It was probably valued between $400 and $800 at the time. I mean, it was just an amazing collection. And so at that point, my PC box is wiped. My showdown cards are gone. I still had my huge Laker collection. I mean, not everything was a loss, but most of my PC. At the time I'm working at the card shop, Pokemon becomes a thing. I think it was a thing prior to that. Pokemon came out in 99. I think I worked there in 2000. But I learned how to play Pokemon right off the bat in middle school. I had the first edition Charizard. I ended up trading it or selling it for a couple $100 so I could go buy a PlayStation 2. I don't know what kind of condition it was in. I don't know how that holds up today. Far more expensive today, no matter the condition. But again, I mean, that was a long time ago. Who knew? I wasn't going to hold it that entire time. I got a PlayStation 2 out of it, which got plenty of love. But again, at that point, I just want to reiterate that 25 years ago, it was easy for someone who had participated in the hobby, even at just 15 or 16, to know, yeah, man, if you want to grow your collection, you want to grow some assets, it's smarter to buy the singles. It's not smarter, it's the way to go versus opening any product. The product is a fun thing. You know, it's fun. If you want to go gamble a little, you want to go play some blackjack, sure. When you're going to open product, it's for fun. But when you really want to spend your money wisely, you're going to buy singles. I would say from about 2002 to 2007, I didn't collect a ton. I'd go into a Target and buy a little bit of retail here and there. I didn't have a ton of it. Like the 2003 LeBron year, I've since traded for some of that stuff or bought some of that stuff. I have the whole top set. I didn't mention that. I have a NBA basketball set from 1990 hoops all the way to 2018. I have the 2003 top set. The LeBron's a PSA 9. I traded a friend for that. Big trade 3 years ago. I don't remember what the deal was, but a lot of cards moving back and forth. I ended up with that whole set. The Dwayne Wade graded at 8, but the LeBron graded a 9, and he had 2 of the sets. He kept what he thought was the better LeBron. I'm curious if he's got that graded by now. Anyways, 2007 around, I discover David Adams Card World, which is crazy. It was that long ago, but and maybe it wasn't that long ago. Maybe I bought it a little bit later, but I remember we went ham, me and my uncle, 2008 Fleer NBA. We brought tons of that. I mean, I have so many. That's Russell Westbrook, Derrick Rose, Kevin Love rookie year. So we went ham on that. And what would happen with David Adams, and maybe again, maybe it wasn't at least 15 years ago. Their stuff would go on clearance and you could just get the best deals on product. I mean, just opening for all day almost for $300-400. And so a couple times a year I'd go on David Adams doing their clearance sales, and you go do that today. It's not the same value. You don't get, it's still a decent deal. I mean, depending what you're buying. And I wouldn't even say that for $200 or $300, you're lucky to get a couple boxes instead of, I'm opening 10, 15, 20 boxes because sometimes they just have amazing deals. I remember I have a Fortnite box there. The Series 1 Fortnite I bought from there, which ended up skyrocketing price. I gave it away to my students. It was so cheap. I gave all the Series 1 away for my students, and this, for whatever reason, just the Series 1 holds a tremendous price. Not Series 2, which is what I end up having, but Series 1, which I gave away, tremendous price. In 2017, I was on a trip in Portland, and that's when I discovered ComC. And at that point, from 2017 to, 2020 COVID, I was stocking up on a lot of NBA vintage, a lot of Wilt Chamberlain. Kobe's my guy, a lot of Kobe, a couple Topps refractors that ended up grading PSA 10s, which is awesome. In 2017, I moved to Vegas, and the local card shop, getting my master's degree, AC just kicked on. Hopefully it's not too much of a disturbance, but I get my master's degree. I moved to Vegas, getting my master's, and I went to the card shop and had 3 different $500 spending sprees. One time, the card I'd eyed since a kid, I thought it was undervalued, which it was, is the Magic Bird Julius Erving. Magic and Bird rookie card. They saved the NBA. They're a dynamic duo. They probably don't get enough love because it's so long ago. And then Dr. J, who happens to be a top 10 NBA player of all time. All 3 of these guys on the same card. And so I bought it in a vintage Beckett 7. And then maybe 6 months later, there's another one in a 7.5, and I bought that one. And so now I have 2 of them, and I think I spent about $350 on each one. And these cards end up going to a couple grand during COVID, and right now they're probably sitting between $800 to $1,000. So they were good buys. The third purchase, I spent $500 on wax. At the time, you can get still quite a bit for $500 back in 2017. And that was Mahomes' rookie year. I ended up getting 2 boxes of Prism, and I realized the price had went up. I bought a bunch of stuff, $500 worth. And when I got to my car, I said, hey man, these Prisms are way more than I thought they were. I'm gonna go return one. And so I returned one. Well, the one I opened had a rookie card in one pack, and the next pack had the parallel. So I pulled a Kareem Hunt rookie, next pack Kareem Hunt parallel. Patrick Mahomes rookie, next one, Patrick Mahomes parallel. I mean, at the time, I didn't realize they were going to skyrocket in value the way they did, but these were valuable cards. It was cool. So I really hit on those 3 with the Magic Bird, 2 of them added to my collection. Then COVID happens and we all get COVID money. the way I spent it, the first check I bought the Kareem rookie. I was working on I've been working, I pretty much have it now, the 1969 Topps. I don't have them, it's like 5 cards. 1969 Topps basketball set, which is pretty much the third set ever printed. So it's a landmark set for sure, and then they keep printing until 81. But so anyways, the Kareem rookie, I also buy the 57 is the Bill Russell rookie. I buy the 1961 Fleer Bill Russell, 2 great vintage cards in PSA slabs, and I add them to my collection. And the following year, right around then, I send in about 200 cards to get graded, including the 2 Mahomes. And the 2 Mahomes come back, the base a 9 and the parallel a 10. And I sell them right before the Super Bowl. I go to the local card shop. On the parallel, he offers me like $900 when they're selling between $1,500 and $2,000. I end up, one of my sale was very good timing. I ended up selling it for the most of the time $2,200, the parallel PSA 10. The PSA 9 base I think went for about $750. So I made about $3,000 on the 2 cards, which basically paid the bill to get all the cards graded. So those cards I no longer own. I think I got rid of them at a very good time. 2022, I start the channel. I start taking it a little more serious in 2023. I get rid of some of the vintage I have to help pay. I had to go to 3 weddings, and so it helped pay weddings are expensive. Bachelor parties are expensive. If you're in the wedding, it's even more expensive. My sister got married. 2 of my best friends got married. I've known since middle school. And so it helped pay for some of those. That was an expensive year. And so where I'm at now is I'll show pictures. I still have way too much. But I have a collection I'm working. I have like 80%, I would say. That's impressive to me. Is every NBA player to ever play their rookie card. They have to have played over 500 games generally, which is about 6 seasons, even on the bench. 5 times. Let me just make sure. 400. It's about 6 seasons, maybe 7 seasons. Even if on the bench, I have 4 full boxes of just NBA rookies. Something I've been working on a long time. Some of these cards, I collected NBA rookie cards when I was a kid, so some of them date back to all the way back then. But it's something I've always, whenever I open a pack, pull those, keep those NBA rookies no matter who they are. And then, tons of singles more recently. And that sparked me. I wanted all the Hall of Famers in a PSA slab, and then I'm like, no, I want all the Hall of Famers in autographed rookies. So now now I have all these singles, which I have a ton, just almost all of the rookie cards. So now I've been basically, here's the Jason Kidd next to me, the autographed rookie. I'm working on that, and it's a fun thing to work on. Last thing I have that really PC, that's not true. I'll show as I'm doing this some of the PC box, which is just random Dave Portnoy rookie card, PSA 10, just random stuff I want a PC. And then the big one I have, well, I also collect right here just randomly. This is Star Wars, I believe it's 1977. Does that sound right? This is like the first year it ever came out. The blue is the first series. So I have quite a bit of that. Here's a random Jay-Z that I want to get graded. That would go in the PC box. But the other thing I have is quite a deep, I wouldn't call it deep, but a couple boxes full of wrestling. 1 box is vintage. And I probably have, I don't know, 25 Vince McMahon rookie cards, 20 graded. There's less than 400 total graded. There's only 10 copies graded in a PSA 10. I don't have any of those, but I have several, 2 or 3 or 4 PSA 9s, bunch of PSA 8s, bunch of PSA 7s. I just believe in that card. It's fun for me to collect, and I think it will age well compared to prices now. Prices have already gone up since I've been collecting it the last 4 or 5, 6 years. So that's it. That is my history in sports cards. I again, in high school, wore the bag. So as an adult, it was important to me. I ran a couple marathons. I boxed. I got my master's degree. I'm now a teacher. And the reason I guess I named it Professor Sports Cards is I felt like, man, I have a master's degree, but I'll never get a doctorate. But if I feel like I have my expertise or could hang or talk one thing, I love sports. I love sports radio, but sports cards is the niche that I just feel like, yeah, man, I feel like I'm obligated to have my voice be heard. Hit the like button. Thank you for listening to my history in sports cards. Subscribe if you have not. As always, have a great day, and thank you for watching.
What up, everybody? This is Robert Ory, a.k.a. Big Shot Bob, and you're watching Professional Sports Cards. Hey, by the way, go buy my rookie card.